AITA for waking my boyfriend up at night and asking him to take me home. Me, 21F, and my boyfriend 23M have been together for about 6 months, and I used to stay at his place all the time. We were basically living together. However, last week we had a terrible argument, and I decided to pack all my things and go back home. When we made up, we agreed that we would let each other know when we're ready to go back to how things were before. Last night I went over to his place for dinner and stayed for a while, and this was the first time I returned since we resolved the issue. When he picked me up, he asked if I wanted to spend the night or go back home, and I told him I wasn't sure and would decide later. After dinner we got into bed to cuddle a little, but around 10 p.m. we fell asleep. I woke up around midnight feeling uneasy about staying there. I mulled it over but, for some reason, felt uncomfortable staying and had the urge to go back home. So much that I couldn't fall back asleep. Finally, around 12:30 a.m. I woke him up and asked if he could take me home. It's a 20-minute drive. At first, he asked if I could stay and that he'd take me home first thing in the morning. I explained that I couldn't sleep much but laid back down anyway. He got a bit annoyed, went to the kitchen, and when he returned he told me I should have told him earlier. I explained that I accidentally fell asleep and that I was feeling weird staying there. At that moment, he told me to try to sleep since it was late and he didn't want to go out at that hour, and he laid back down. I thought he was probably right to complain. I only remembered at that moment that he had been awake since 5 a.m. and was surely very tired, and I didn't insist. I got up to drink some water and then went back to bed. After a few minutes, he got up upset and told me to get dressed. I tried to convince him to come back to bed and that I'd stay, but he got even more upset, raised his voice slightly, and said I was being disrespectful to ask that at that hour. He drove me home, but he didn't say a word the entire way and didn't even kiss me goodbye. I know I wasn't very kind to ask him something like that last minute, which is why I believe I could be TA. But at the same time I didn't feel like ignoring my feelings. I also felt a bit hurt because he didn't try to reassure me, nor did he ever bother to ask me what was wrong.